Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So, we're going to be taking a look at another veteran build today, and this is one that I've been having a lot of fun with. Let's just jump in and take a look. So, as you can see, it is a bolter build, which is not something you may have ever seen from me in a veteran build, but we'll start off with the melee weapon as usual. We're going with the Dueling Sword. I'm using the Mark II, but use whatever mark you fancy. The Mark IV is generally quite good for beginners. If you've never used the Dueling Sword before, its main attack is all about stabbing at the face. So I'll quickly show you what I mean. So this is the Mark IV, and all heavy attacks are just jabs to the face. Very good, and you can take out, as you can see, a crusher in between 2 to 3 hits. And there's 2 hits. And then there is the other mark that I tend to use quite a lot, which is the Mark II. Now, I like the Mark II because it's got a little bit of a difference in the heavy attacks. So as you can see, there's the stab, and there's a slash, and then back to the jab. Jab, slash, jab. I quite like the slash when you're dealing with smaller enemies, but if you just want it to be easy, just go for the Mark IV. That's the only difference between them. Now, how are we building it? Well, let's look at the modifiers first. As always, we're dumping out mobility, because screw mobility, it's awful. What we want is, we want damage, finesse, cleave damage, and penetration, lol. Next up, we're going for the perks. We're going for flak armor, as it's the most prevalent armor type in the game. And also unyielding, which will give us extra damage against reapers, bulwarks, and all types of monstrosities, including demon hosts, Beast of Nurgle, etc. Unyielding doesn't give you... okay, so unyielding does work against crushers, but the point on their body is so stupidly obtuse to get to, it might as well not be considered unyielding. Okay, so there's literally a small strip around the neck, which is technically unyielding, but you'll never ever goddamn hit it. So yeah, just not crushers basically. But we don't really care about that because the amount of penetration that this weapon has, as you can see, we can 2-shot crushers with 2 heavy attacks. So it's not a worry. Next up, we're going for the blessings. We're going with a rampage. Hitting at least 3 enemies with an attack increases your damage by 36% for 3 seconds. This is going to help us just dealing with chaff, basically. So you just light attacks, slashing away, and we'll get through Poxwalker hordes and all that with very little problem. Same goes for the next blessing, Uncanny Strikes. Plus 24% rending on enemy weak spot hit for 3.5 seconds, stacks 5 times. Now, this is a very, very overpowered blessing, and I absolutely goddamn love it. Because yes, it does help us when we're dealing with these big nasties. As you can see, stacks up to 5 times, does a lot of damage, but it also... this weapon is so accurate. Just your normal hack and slash. As you go through hordes, generally every hit you do will be a weak spot hit. Like so. So that's why we're using the Dueling Sword, because I really enjoy it. And next up is the bolt gun. So as I said, you wouldn't have seen me use this before in the veteran because it used to be goddamn awful. Now it's absolutely amazing, so that's why I'm using it. And also it's really fun to use. Like, this weapon is actually a joy to use. It's just fun. And I think that's something we're missing a lot in gaming at the moment, because yes, we can go all through like super meta builds that have been dialed down to the 0.1% of, oh, it's so much better, or we could have a bit of fun. Like, this is a very, very overpowered build, okay? So don't worry about that. But I'm not going to call it meta, even though I call everything meta because it's hilarious and it annoys people. Actually, no, I will call it meta. There you go. It's the bolt gun meta. We do it live. It's fine. So, how are we speccing out the bolt gun? As always, we're dumping out mobility because screw mobility. We don't need to be mobile if everything's dead. So, and also there is a reason why I would have usually dumped out reload speed for mobility in this case. But I have tested it at great lengths and dropping any mobility on the bolt gun, and you can feel it. Like, it's painfully slow to reload, which is why we're dumping mobility and not reload. So As you can see, mobility is at 60, everything else is 80. Damage, reload speed, collateral, and stability. Them all being at 80 makes this an incredibly stable, accurate, and highly damaging gun. And we don't really care about mobility, because screw mobility. Next up, we've got the perks. What we're going for? Of course, flak armor, because it's the most prevalent arm type in the game, and damage to unyielding. Now, this is the thing we're going to be hosing down bosses, bulwarks, crushers, reapers, all of that with. And this is going to give us a big pile of damage to that. Note, yes, I know I said crushers don't have unyielding, so it's just going to hurt crushers a lot, okay? Because it's got a lot of penetration. Lol. So, this is going to be our boss and hard target killer, and if we really want to, we can just mag dump it down a corridor because it's hilarious. So for the blessings, we are going to be using Pinning Fire and Cavalcade. Pinning Fire gives us +5 strength for every enemy you stagger stacks 5 times, which gives us a 25% damage bonus. Cavalcade gives us +5% crit chance for every 10% of the magazine spent during continuous fire stacks 5 times. So as we're mag dumping, the damage is, well, our chance to crit is going to get higher and higher, which means our damage is going to get higher. So, yeah, it's good. Now, there are a few other ways you can do this. Let's just jump in now. Let me just find the bolt gun. Right, so at the moment, we're using Cavalcade and Pinning Fire. But if you want to, you can dump those out and you can take Fire Frenzy, which is what I use on the Zealot build. Gain 10% close damage for 3.5 seconds after killing an enemy at close range, stacks 5 times, but this will put you in harm's way. So it's more of a risk reward. So yes, you'll be doing a lot more damage, but also some of our talents will become null and void because we're too close. And also this does put us in harm's way of being torn to pieces. That's not to say it's not a fun blessing to use. It is. It's just slightly unsafe. And of course, we can either take surgical or shattering impact. I don't particularly like either of these for this because we're not going to be sniping aiming down sights, so we're not going to be getting as much out of surgical as we would do on other guns. A lot of the time we will be mag dumping or hip firing, so we're not going to get anything from surgical in those situations. Puncture, it's good, you know. Bleed stacks are always fun, but we don't have anything that really cares about bleed stacks. Like, yes, it will give you more damage and it will do more damage to things, but out of everything, I would highly suggest these two. But like I said, in all my other builds, if you want to try out other blessings, go for it. I really do encourage you guys to try out all of the ways of playing. It's more fun, it will make you a better player in the end, and also not all YouTubers know what they're talking about. Even me sometimes, I get things wrong, so, you know, try stuff out, see how you feel. And of course, we can either go for Inspiring Barrage instead of Cavalcade or Glory Hunter. This is going to help us farm back toughness, but we are a veteran, so we don't have to worry too much about that because we just generate toughness by the bagful. So, you know, there are a few other ways you can build this. But I like it like this. Pinning Fire and Cavalcade, it's just a nice mix. It gives you good bursts of damage. And next up, we've got the Curios. As you can see, we're using 2 toughness Curios with 17% toughness as the blessing, and then 5% toughness, 5% max health, and plus 20% damage resistance to gunners. Damage resistance gunners does give you resist against gunners and reapers. Again, I will say, as I've said in the other videos, there is still a 50-50 split on people who say gunner resist gives you damage resistance against shotgunners, and 50% people say it doesn't. At this point, I don't care anymore. People keep jumping down my throat about it. You go work it out for yourself. Don't know. There you go. Until Fat Shark says either way, we're not really going to know. And then we're going for a singular plus 21% max health blessing, along with max toughness, toughness regeneration speed, and plus damage resistance gunners. So the reason we're only taking 1 toughness regeneration speed on the Curios is because what it does is it starts us regenerating toughness sooner. We don't care about how fast we regenerate it. We care about how fast it actually starts to regenerate. And this is what that 1 singular toughness regeneration speed perk is going to do. It's going to speed up the actual starting we don't care about the speed of actually regenerating. It's just the start of it. Hello, kitty cat. What do you want? So there you go. That's the weapons and equipment. Let's take a look at the talents. So it's going to be a bit weird. This we'll start off over on the left side with long shot. Deal up to 20% range-based damage. Bonus is reduced the nearer you are to the target, which is why I said Dum Dum or whatever it was might not be great with this talent, because we do want to get to Volley Adept. Plus 30% reload speed on elite and specialist enemy kill. Now this is us trying to basically get round the Boltgun's ridiculous reload timer. And then we come over here onto the right. We're going with one motion, as the time it takes to swap weapons is ridiculous with the Boltgun, and this just kind of smooths it out. And also tactical reload. Plus 25% reload speed if your weapon contains ammo. So always try and leave at least one shot in the gun so that you can reload pretty damn quickly. And then we're going to come down the middle here for close order drill, up to 33% toughness damage reduction, the more allies in coherency, and then into confirmed kill. Replenish 10% toughness on elite or specialist enemy kill, and a further 20% over 10 seconds. And then we're going for the stamina boost into toughness. Let me just make sure they're not... Right, no, that's fine. Stamina boost into toughness, and then we're grabbing the Shredder Frag Grenade. Now, we're taking the Shredder Frag Grenade with this build because we want Survivalist, and we want the reload speed node down there, but also because the Shredder Frag Grenade works quite nicely with this build, as what we're using it for isn't strictly to do damage. What we want it for is its ability to stagger. So this is going to be for either clearing out massive hordes of poxwalkers. You know, they're all smushed up in a room. You can just lob in a couple of grenades and that horde is going to be whittled down quite efficiently. But also, if things are getting sketchy in the match, people are going down, this works as a poor man's stun grenade that the Zealot has. So if you need to, it does give you a few seconds to try and get somebody up. So, you know, it is useful. And also, we don't really need the crack grenade because our gun and our melee weapon have enough penetration to deal with basically anything. So we're not having to rely on the crack grenade for that. And then we're going to come over here into toughness damage reduction and field improvisation. This is basically just to help with the team. Ammo crates also restore grenades, and med packs heal 100% faster and cleanse corruption and replenish 1% toughness per second. And then we're grabbing demolition stockpile to replenish one grenade every 60 seconds. This will stop us having to chase around everyone else to try and get those grenades. And of course, voice of command, replenish your toughness and stagger all enemies within 9 meters. So this is how you're just going to heal your teammates and keep things staggered. And of course, duty and honor, voice of command now also provides you and your allies in coherency with plus 50 toughness for 15 seconds. This can exceed your maximum toughness. Basically gives you a little overshield. Then into suppression dealt, and then over here onto the left, we're going for a range damage boost. Into precision strikes, plus 30% weak spot damage. That is going to help with both our range and our melee weapon. Into fully loaded for plus 25% ammo. Into superiority complex, which gives us plus 15% base damage against elite enemies. And then back into the middle, into for the Emperor. Your combat abilities gives you and your allies in coherency plus 10% melee base damage and plus 10% ranged base damage for 5 seconds. Then into tactical awareness, combat ability cooldown reduced by 6 seconds on specialist enemy kill. Iron Will, one of the best talents in the tree, plus 50% reduced toughness damage if above 75% toughness. Now you should be able to stay at around there all the time with, you know, tactical uses of voice command. Then into toughness boost. Bring it down for plus 20% damage to Ogryns and monstrosities. Into focus target. Gain focus target every 2 seconds. Stacks 5 times. Tagging the enemy applies the focus target stacks to them, causing them to take 4% additional damage for each stack and resets your focus target stacks to 1. And then, of course, we're taking focus fire to get those stacks to 8. Now, we're not taking target down or redirect fire, generally because we don't have the points to take them. But with all of this, this is just going to keep us pretty well topped up, to be honest. So, as you can see, the damage we can do, especially against crushers. I mean, I missed a couple of headshots there, and it still just dropped him in 6 rounds. And then 2 rounds for that Reaper. And of course, the classic Bulwark. Usually it's about 5 shots to get him to open up his shield. Oh no, 4 shots in. Three shots. So as you can see, you can force them to open up. You will go through ammo like absolutely nobody's business with this build, but again, it's fun. And of course, you know, tag things, shoot things, and the new updated bolt gun, of course, is a lot more accurate. So if need be, you can counter snipe. And with all the reload boosts, it's actually pretty damn quick to get the thing reloaded. As I said, always try and keep at least 1 round in your gun so you get that increased boost, but you know, you're not always going to have it, but still, just aim for it if you can. And honestly, I really love this build. The bolt gun's fast becoming one of my favourite weapons again. And it's about goddamn time. It's one of the most iconic weapons in all of 40k, and it's been an absolute pile of crap for 2 years. So, well done. It's now usable and fun. Speaking of fun, I really do hope you guys enjoy using this build, and if you do, please do like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And if you've got any suggestions for builds you'd like to see, please do leave them down in the comments and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. So, until the next video, take it easy, and I'll see you later.